Why is it so hard to break up? So yeah, I feel like I just went through like 7 breakups in the last 2 months. And it's that many because my former partner has 4 children, and so that's 4 plus them. And then I'm counting my own child, and then I'm counting a good associate that I had that I think we are finally gonna be no contact with each other. Long story short, I relocated for a job, and my son needs to finish the school year in our home city. And so he's with his father, and then at the same time that was happening, I was also experiencing post-breakup cohabitation, which was very awkward. But, our relationship ended like back in August last year, and we were living together, and my intent was to either stay until I got a better paying position or stay into the end of the lease, whichever was first. And so the better position came first. But even though everybody in the household knew that me and my son were moving out, we still worked as a unit until that time, or for the most part until that time, right? It wasn't until like maybe the last 2 weeks that I kind of really saw the change in the atmosphere. But this video isn't about that. It's just about breaking up in general. For me, I feel like I always experience breakups in several different stages before they're announced or acted on. I feel that I genuinely and generally can also always sense like when it's about to happen or when it needs to happen. I'm not so sure if that sense is happening at the same time as the other person. I've been led to believe that maybe I might figure it out sooner than them, but I'm not sure right now. All I can say is my process of breaking up usually starts with me starting to feel like there's an unequal amount of effort, with me being the giver at the bigger percentage. And that is something that I've seen show up in just about every single relationship I've had in this world, platonic, familial, or romantic. So there is a problem there, or at least there was, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm in my rented room, just thinking to myself about what's to come and how I'm going to stay encouraged despite what's happening in my heart and in my mind. And I realized I'm taking some really great steps to be sure that these things don't happen anymore. And by things, I mean me overgiving or feeling like I'm overgiving. Therapy. I made that a priority for myself. I've gone to therapy on and off throughout my life, and prior to the breakup with my ex, I was going to therapy. One of the things that was highlighted to me was that I was going to therapy and the other person was not, and how that could look when I'm working on myself and they are not, and how that feeds into that dynamic of me feeling as though I'm giving more, right? And even though that's something that we analyzed and discussed, and then ultimately I ended up stopping that particular therapy, I still had those set of thoughts in my head, like, okay, therapy is a great tool, but doing it while still in the situation that is kind of causing the need for therapy is really hard, right? And now that I'm on the other side of that situation, I planned thoroughly with intent that once I got out of that household, I would return to therapy as soon as possible. And so that's what I'm doing, right? But that doesn't stop the lonely nights. That doesn't stop the moments where, like this, where I was kind of catching myself falling into a sort of a rumination, just sitting here, kind of toying with all the things that are happening in my life, and whether or not I am in need of some tinkering in order for them to not happen anymore, or if I'm, on the money with my boundaries and what I'm doing is the proper and healthy way to deal with circumstances between me and those people. I really and truly don't ever want to be a person that's like, oh no, it's all them. You know what I mean? Because it's just not. It don't even seem advantageous nor truthful, to ever feel like it's always the other person. If something smells everywhere you go, so seeing as though this lesson of overgiving, people pleasing, ending up with takers, ending up, seeing as though that's a lesson that I keep having to learn, I must not be fully grasping it, or at least not until this moment in time, right? And so that's kind of what I want to focus on in therapy, is healing that part of me that needs to be desired, or needs to be picked, or needs to be wanted, or desires to be those things, healing that part of me so that I'm not ignoring red flags, and I'm not adjusting too soon, or advocating for a person, beyond what they are actually able to do right now. Those types of things are kind of how I get myself into those situations where after a few months to years, I'm feeling overwhelmed and like I'm overgiving, right? So, yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm rambling because I really ain't got no point to it yet, other than the fact that therapy is going to be a good resource. I know it is. It's already proven to be a good resource just from me researching the therapist, looking at things that they specialize in, researching those things, and trying to figure out who could be a good fit.